in the vast expanse.
All of them were packing up their tents and moving on. The city was well served by its prosecutor. I felt all along that Granger, in spite of occasional hesitations, would get a first, and he did.
You've really hung in there yourself, Frank. Any closing thoughts?
Relief, Laura. That's all.
Well, good work. This concludes Channel 2's coverage of the Tobin murder trial. We'll be right back with sports. Channel 2 presents next Thursday at 8 the made-for-TV movie more shocking than the headlines it's based on, The Tobin Trial, starring Tori Gray as the grieving widow Yvonne, Blake Ramsey in the title role as the homicidal artist, and Patricia Williams as Ruby, torn between passion and loyalty for the accused. Critics have called this a shocking ride through the boudoirs and courtrooms of the world's most mysterious city.
I'm sure the jury members will be happy to join their families after this long ordeal.
Frank, one last question. Do you think the prosecutor was surprised by the verdict?
It appears he was overconfident. Sources told Channel 2 before the trial even began that Granger expected a much stronger verdict on the murder charge, and as we now know, that turned out not to be. That's it from here. Laura, back to you.
Well, I am the best-selling author in the world according to the Guinness Book of Records, and I've sold 3...
Can go back to watching the soaps. Finally, Laura, I'd like to say that confidential sources have reported that Granger never expected to get such a strong murder verdict.
I suppose he's just a modest man.
That's one interpretation. Back to you, Laura.
Better than...
Because for the jury, this has been both a trial of endurance and a trial of the accused. But it is all over now.
Any final thoughts from you, Frank?
Well, Laura, Granger seemed to feel before the trial that he didn't have a chance at getting a first, and he was proven right. It's been suggested that his overcautious expectations somehow limited his performance.
Sort of, I think I can't, I think I can't?
You got it, Laura. You know, personally, I think that a more skillful, more courageous attorney could have gotten a first, but that's just my opinion.
This pill takes the place of all these.
People of San Francisco are no longer under the prying eyes of national television.
Any final thoughts from you, Frank?
Yeah, one, Laura. I've learned that Granger never thought he'd get a murder conviction, and he was correct. The best thing that can be said about this public servant is that he's a man who at least knows his limitations.
Why did he go ahead with the case?
Maybe he had his fingers crossed.
He's shocked. He's shocked.
State and across the country. It's that knowledge, being in touch with people and
the very beginning, Granger was very tight-lipped about how it was going to go. He wouldn't even comment to me off the record. This disdain sure hasn't helped him with the press.
Well, there's one bit of good news, Frank.
What's that, Laura?
No more chicken salad sandwiches for you.
You got that right. Also, no more French fries, no more onion rings, no more ring dings, no more cherry pies, no more apple pies.
We get the picture. Thank you, Frank, for all that probing work. And now to our legal eagle, Dr. Fleece. In the few remaining minutes, Dick, tell us how well you think the people were served by City Attorney Granger.
Well, I had very high hopes right from the beginning when he made such an effective opening statement, saying he was going to prove motive and then following through and doing precisely that.
See you back here, Frank. And finally, Dr. Fleece, in your professional opinion, what was the jury's general impression, since you were sitting so close to them, of Granger's overall performance?
Granger got off to a shaky start by not mentioning motive in his opening statement. Now, I can't recall any criminal trial where this was done. Legal observers in the audience were heard snickering under their breath.
Thank you, Frank Somerville, for all that delving work. And now a few words from our own Dr. Fleece. Tell us, Dick, about what were some of the turning points which helped impact the outcome of this sensational trial?
For one, The prosecutor got off on the wrong foot by making claims in his opening which he never went on to substantiate. This is a classic mistake, painting yourself into a testimonial corner.
Then things went downhill from there?
That's right, Laura, right downhill. Come out.
More specifically?
Well, we talked to a disgusted jury member who said there would have been a lot stronger conviction if the people had demonstrated a clear link between Tobin and the murder weapon.
Thank you, Dr. Fleece, for your professional insights. Pet owners, stay tuned for a pet tip from No Flea, the flea care experts, available wherever pet products are sold. I understand the prosecution scored a victory when it came to linking Tobin to the murder weapon. Did they consistently do this well in the trial proper?
Fortunately not, Laura. Sources have told me that the alleged art fraud and its cover-up probably played a key role in the murder, but Granger neglected to make much of a case for it.
Thank you, Dick. It has been a pleasure working with you.
Oh, thank you, Laura.
Channel 2's own Gary Hernandez will be here when we come back to tell you about the Fitness Fair Friday at Fort Funston. And as for the trial proper, I understand things were going swimmingly for Granger.
That's correct, until the defense surprised everybody and brought the defendant to the stand. The prosecution seemed completely unprepared. It was very strange. It felt like he wasn't really at a trial, like it was all a game to him.
Hello, Earth calling. Thank you, Dr. Fleece, for all your insights.
Not at all.
And in other news,
we're putting you on solid food today, Mr. Karras.
there has been an important development in the Tobin trial. We go live to City Hall.
Just a few moments ago, the jury finally returned. They are looking very haggard after 9 days of deliberation. Word is they have reached a unanimous decision. The judge is now querying the foreperson who will then hand over the verdict to the clerk of the court.